In the lower left position, spawning as the red Protoss player, we do have Highgain. And his opponent up in the top right, the blue Zerg, looking really impressive in game 2, Lindzo.
Yeah, Lindzo looking really good in that second game. How is he going to be faring in this third one, as we see the scouting worker of Highgain going to be coming into the main base? How is he going to try to harass, or is he just going to scout around? Is he going to try to attack some drones, deny some mining, or is he just going to wobble around in a circular pattern as he is now?
That is, of course, the technical term, wobbling around in a circular pattern. Very, very effective at making sure that your opponent is definitely doing what you expect, and Lindzo is doing precisely that. He went for a 15 pull. He'll get a quick hatchery out after this. Meanwhile, it's probably going to be a Nexus first at a Highgain.
Yep, Nexus first is what I'm expecting. Of course, now 400 minerals about to be in the bank for Highgain, so he's going to get that down. And this game is going to open up, as we've seen so many PvZs open up. It's either a Forge expand into a Nexus first into a Forge, or a Forge into a Nexus, or a Gateway expand into a Nexus, obviously, where you apply the pressure with the Zealot, the Stalker, and the Mothership Core that Lindzo took so much damage from in the first game, but not so much in the second. He defended it well.
He defended it really well in the second game, actually, but that's because it was a bit of a different play. Highgain went for basically a one-gate expanse, so Lindzo was somewhat expecting it, whereas I think in the first game he wasn't prepared for it as well. Not used to dealing with it, produced an awful lot of Zerglings and lost those two Queens, which put him off to a bad start. But this game, Lindzo, he's just going quite nicely. He's getting his gas up that's actually a very early gas. It's not even relatively early, that is just flat up quickly.
Yeah, we try to always sugarcoat things a little bit as casters and be like, yeah, that's relatively early. I think, just in case someone in chat is like, no, that's not early. We can always say, yeah, we said relatively, relative to the game and, the time
relative
and
to the
space
way that
continuum.
The fact it's British summertime now, the clocks went forward. When you factor all of those things in, it was... But no, that is... You don't usually see that, especially if you're going for a quick third. It's going to delay the third of Lindzo quite significantly. It does mean that he can get speed out significantly sooner. But generally speaking, you don't see gas out of a Zerg player against a fast expanding Protoss until 40 to 50 odd supply.
And we see a really weird build, as in uncommon, by Highgain. He's going to be playing double Gateway, and he's going to be making a lot of Zealots, and he's going to delay his gas mining for quite some time. Just now getting 6 workers in his gases, but he has been on just pure mineral mining for a long time, so he is going to be able to afford double Zealot production out of his 2 gateways, but he's going to be delaying his cybernetic score so much. So he has to do some form of damage with these Zealots.
And luckily, of course, for Highgain, Lindzo is just getting speed out rather than getting a roach run. A couple of roaches would shut this play down so incredibly hard, whereas the Zerglings, they're not going to trade so effectively against a lot of Zealots.
No, they are not going to be trading effectively at...
Just stating the obvious there. Just stating the real obvious there. Just like, you know what, they're not. But, of course, the thing is, yeah, Lindzo, he's staying on this 2-base play. He's getting down the gases very, very early. Getting down layer. Is this some kind of 2-base muta play?
Ah, that's very weird. A 2-base muta play would be a good answer to the strategy that Highgain is doing, because his gases and his tech is going to be so late as the Zealot gets surrounded, tries to wobble his way out of there, but he doesn't manage to do so, and he does go down. There are another 2 Zealots on the way. They are going to take the Zergling out really quickly, and Lindzo is going to be in a little bit of trouble. We'll be making a pair of extra links, but has a Queen, has a lot of Zerglings, has speed now finished up, and he should be fine.
Yeah, he should.
Ooh, don't engage that. Oh.
Yeah, that was dodgy. That was a dodgy spot to try and go through. So, luckily those Zealots do get back. The Mothership Core is now coming out for Highgain. He's also getting down his Stargate. So, everything piecing together. Lindzo, though, his lair is finished, and he's going for an infestation pit. So, I'm gonna say I'm now slightly perplexed.
Yeah,
it's gonna be swarm hosts.
Yeah, it has to be.
But 2-base swarm hosts is not something I've seen very often.
Yeah, we have seen it at I-48 actually. TLO did it versus Baby Knight, I believe it was. And actually he did that with great success. So that could be the strategy that we see coming out here, but it is a little bit later than when we've seen TLO do it.
It is TLO's build. It's going to be... The only thing missing is Queens. There's not enough Queens in this composition. Usually you get a whole ton of Queens, Swarm Hosts, Nidus, chuck down some creep tubers, burrow the swarm host, and chuckle as wave upon wave of locusts kill everything.
Yep, the enduring locust upgrade now on the way out of the infestation pit as the overlords are getting into position to get that Nidus worm down. I imagine we're going to see it on the high ground, or maybe even on the low ground where a potential 4th base could be. We're going to have to see where Lindzo wants to chuck that down. Nidus network has now finished up. Nidus should be coming in a second. Doesn't want to do that too early. He only has one swarm host on the way. And one swarm host isn't dangerous at all.
And here we go, it is going to be at the 4th base position. The Phoenix are coming in though, and we'll see 4 gas. They saw there was no 3rd base, and are definitely going to be thinking, hey, what up? This isn't really too normal.
No, it's not. As a 3rd Phoenix comes in, so the Queen is now going to be
the
dying.
Swarm Host gets spotted.
Yep, Swarm Host has been seen. The Nidus is now down. Ooh, did the Phoenix see it? I think the Phoenix caught a glimpse of the Nidus, yes. And Highgain now knows exactly what's coming his way. He knows everything.
And there's straight away an observer moving forward. A lift goes on the swarm host, just delaying it coming forward. That's exactly what you do on the 3 additional Phoenix on their way through there as well. And while the Queen is doing a little bit of damage, it is going to get taken out now as the Phoenix do return back to defend. The Locust is going to start pushing forward. A Void Ray coming out. The Robotics Bay nearly complete. And with so few swarm hosts, this isn't going to be able to punch through too easily.
No, the Locusts are not even going to get to the wall of Protoss before they die. The Phoenix now lifting the swarm hosts. Quite frankly, this is probably going to be the end of the game for Lindzo. Highgain getting so far ahead. He has Colossi on the way, has a Void Ray on the way. The Locusts, they don't really do much to the wall of Protoss. The Queen gets out of position and gets lifted by the Phoenix, which opens up more harassment.
Yeah, and once the Queens start going down, you don't have anti-air, which means the Void Rays are going to be so much more potent. And this is why you need to just be pumping those Queens constantly in this sort of build, because you really need them for the anti-air. Otherwise, the Void Rays just come in and deal the damage. And we can see now that suddenly the Swarm Host taking a lot of damage, and a few Spore Crawlers are there, which are really going to help push this back. And it's a good way to do it in terms of if you don't have Queens, get the Spore Crawlers. But it's just going to make advancing a bit tougher. Highgain, though, he is starting to lose some of his wall.
Yeah, he lost 2 of his gateways, which means he's only on 5 gateway production, but that should be enough. I mean, he's producing Void Rays and Colossi and Thermal Lance at the same time, so he's not going to be able to afford 7 gateway production anyway. Whereas Lindzo is still on 2 bases, he's still making Swarm Hosts, but he is getting a nice amount of Swarm Hosts now. He has about 6 on the field, I believe. Yeah, 6 on the field, 3 more on the way, so he's going to go up to 9, which starts to become a little scary for Highgain.
It definitely starts to become scary. Once you get up above the sort of 8 mark with Swarm Hosts, that's when you're going to have trouble as a Protoss player. And Highgain does need to really break this contain fairly soon, otherwise he will be running into issues. The plus side for him, though, is Lindzo does not have a 3rd behind this.
No, this is completely all in by Lindzo. He has to start thinking about a 3rd base in the next minute, because the army of Highgain is going to get so ridiculously good. Already has 2 Colossi with Thermal Lance, and these Locusts, they don't even get to the wall anymore. They don't even get to damage the shields of a Colossus before they die.
Yeah, it's because they're spawning out of waves, so they're coming like literally 2 at a time, which is just bite-sized chunks, happy for Highgain to start eating through. They're also coming through quite a tight choke. The creep spread is coming forward, though that obviously increases the speed of these Locusts, which is very, very important. And now with the Spore Crawlers just edging closer and closer, Highgain does need to start thinking about breaking this. One of the Colossi is taking quite a bit of damage, needs to be micro back.
Needs to be micro back, but is still in the front, trying to find a way to go to the back lines. Doesn't want to be in the front line anymore. The Locust still dying off really quickly, and what is there to be said about this game, man? Highgain is getting into a better position every second, but Lindzo is not down and out yet. He has a lot of Queens, he has a lot of Spore Crawlers, and he is using that strategy that TLO has popularized in a quite a good way, I would say. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's a fun build to do as well, and it's really it throws quite a lot of Protoss players off when they're so used to just macroing up a lot. But as you can see, you start getting that critical mass of Colossi out, and you can start to stealing really wave upon wave of these Locusts. What I'd love to see is Lindzo sync up his Locust production, though. That's when it gets a lot more effective.
Yeah, he has like 2 waves, like 1 big wave, 1 smaller wave, and 1 wave of 2 that go out right now. And if you pair those up, they're going to do more and more damage, but it looks like Highgain has had enough. He's now pushing forward into the Locust, and he laces them down so quickly. They didn't really kill much of anything. The Void Ray has gone down. The Spore Crawler is doing some damage versus the Colossi, but there's just so much Protoss and not enough support for the Swarm Host anywhere near.
Yeah, the Queen's desperately trying to transfuse, but now the Locust Wave spawns. It will force Highgain back momentarily, but it would deal with those and then push forward yet again.
Yeah, here he goes and pushes forward. No Locusts are going to be spawning. Lindzo needs to retreat. Oh, there's no... Oh, there he goes.
The Observer got taken out, actually. Really
the
quite
Observer was out of position. Yeah, that was actually pretty lucky there by Highgain that a few of those Swarm hosts lift up. They are going to be killing more and more Stalkers, doing some decent damage, but a new Observer has been placed and will be forcing the retreat out of Lindzo.
Yeah, the Nidus does fall. That means no more reinforcements, and this is where the Spore Crawlers are helpful. You either need an Overseer or a Spore Crawler to take out the Observer, but now the Observer's back. The Swarm hosts are taking a lot of damage. Lindzo down to under 100 supply and GG's out, meaning Highgain takes a 2-1 advantage and puts his